Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the podcast. This is the JRPG Report, episode 165. I'm your humble host, James Fisher, and we're back again this week with some awesome news to talk about. We had some breaking news this morning from the Legend of Heroes Kuro no Kiseki. We're going to be detailing a couple new characters, locations, and the mysterious, even more mysterious, how do you pronounce it, Xipha system? Not sure how you say that, but we'll figure it all out. We've got Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, quote-unquote, final news before the big re-release on PlayStation 5, along with the intermission new DLC. Scarlet Nexus is here. We've got NieR Reincarnation, and we've got some other fun stories to talk about, including a JRPG unlike any you've ever heard. So stay tuned towards the back of the podcast for that. But let's get into the bigger stories of the week. Like I said, this one popped just a few hours ago, and I've been reminiscing a bit over how long the podcast has been going on. And if you're a long-time listener like Jeff there, you would know that the format has changed over the years. We've released on different days of the week. We've kind of settled into the Thursday here lately, but it's not always been that way. At the very beginning, I want to say it was once a month. Me putting out the podcast. I think it quickly changed to every 2 weeks, and as the format grew and the need was there for a every week podcast, we've had Sunday specials as well. But anyway, I say all that to say I'm so glad it comes out on Thursday, because usually sometimes that's when these things break. And of course, I appreciate all you guys for tuning in each and every week to the show. Let's talk a little Kuro no Kiseki. So first up, the two new characters that were introduced. The first is named Rosette Twinnings. She is 20 years old. She uses a weapon and blade gear, so perhaps a little bit like Instructor Sarah. She says her quote is, "To serve my client is my duty and pride." A woman dressed in a maid outfit who works as a service. Oh gosh, how do you say that? It looks like, if you pronounce it how it's sounds, is concierge, but there's some fancy way of saying it. You guys are probably all yelling at me. Anyway, she works at the Marduk Total Security Company. While her pale green hair gives off a cold impression, she is actually very social and polite. I believe they meant to say eyes there. Her pale green eyes give off a cold impression. A little typo there on Gametsu. We love you guys, but I caught you one there. She's actually very social and polite and has a cute sense of humor. Actually, when I first saw her eyes, I almost thought she might be a homunculus, android, something. We've had those in this series, but I don't believe so. I believe she is actually human. Unlike her graceful appearance, she has superhuman strength, speed, and combat capabilities that at times surpass even seasoned Jaegers. So, first similarity would be like to Sharon, with the maid outfit, super strong. That is the obvious comparison. Just to take a look at it, she maintains a strictly business relationship with Van, the Spriggan detective character, by giving him weapons and exclusive Xipha apps free of charge, and in turn collects data from his usage as an external tester. So that's the one new character that we know about. Of course, there's been 4 previous before now, so these are assuming to be new character party members, so this will put us up to 6. The other one is Quatre Salasian. It's hard to know how to pronounce these things without hearing them first, of course. And he is 15. He uses a pulse gun and orbital drones. This is a very cool-looking character. A young researcher attending a master's course at a science university at the age of 15. His neatly trimmed silver hair and feminine face emit an atmosphere that makes him easy to approach. His major is researching and developing orbital drones that use the new Xipha standard artificial intelligence, but he also helps out in the physical and bioengineering labs and has a strong attachment to the observatory, which is the symbol of the university. Due to a certain circumstance as a child, he was adopted by Dr. Latoya Hamilton, the mother of the Orbital Revolution, and has since cared for like his own grandmother and aspired to become a researcher himself. So, kind of runs around. It shows at least two different orbital mechanisms running around with him. One is in the air. The other one is kind of a large cat or beast type of machine that looks pretty intimidating, to say the least. So, this society, it has a weird feel to it. While it may appear maybe a little bit more Eastern and traditional looking, they're also on this huge orbital revolution and quite advanced at that. So over the course of these games, we have seen technology just explode from seemingly next to nothing in the Sky games. Obviously, there was a lot going on behind the scenes. To this is quite a leap, not unlike our own evolution. Certain places experienced it quicker than others. One of the places that you will be visiting is Langport, the Shining Capital. It's a massive port city facing the South Sea. It's also called Neju, and it's located in South Calvert. Langport's scale is larger than Crossbell, the city of trade, and Ordes, the ocean capital, and in recent years has been referred to as being the second heart of the Republic that symbolizes diversity. Other than its business and shopping districts that house modern skyscrapers, it also has the largest eastern quarter in the continent, and is known as the Shining Capital due to its beautiful, glimmering night skyline. There were some images that went along with that. It shows the Hotel Kowloon. I believe that's how you say that. It shows it has an orbital car, and if you remember what some of the cars looked like, in particular, like in Crossbell, or the name is escaping me at the moment. Some of the cars in the capital there. This one appears to be a little more advanced. The previous cars that we've seen so far in the Cold Steel series looked like earlier cars. They were definitely more luxurious, as they were very expensive. But kind of looked like some older, model cars would, maybe in UDS in the, 40s or 50s, maybe 60s. These appear to be kind of modern, sleek-looking, smaller cars, very sporty, at least from the one image that we have. The city looks amazing. I can't wait to run around it. The images that we got today are incredibly detailed. You have to assume it's not been specified, but this is PlayStation 5 written all over it. I cannot see them able to do this level of detail on a PS4. It may be available on PS4, but this is showing us some next generation stuff. They also talked about, I guess you say it Basel, the industrial city. It's a city southwest of Calvert. It's located on focused on industry and academics. Basel has long been known for its history and natural science research and is home to the Basel Science University, which boasts its own observatory. Back in the Middle Ages, there was a craftsman's guild that helped forge machinery and equipment for architecture, irrigation, industry, and academics. Now, after the Orbital Revolution, the Craftsman Guild and University joined forces to form the Verne Industrial Company. Longtime series fans will have heard that name before. A joint city planning project is in the place to make the city a high-tech industrial academic city, such as connecting district on different levels with a ropeway, while maintaining its beautiful landscape. And indeed, it is beautiful. I mentioned the Marduk Total Security Company, the first character. I forgot her name. What is it? Rosette works for. Well, they are a total securities company located in Ord. as well as a private military company. It was founded around 10 years ago. They say, unlike Jaeger's, it often offers plans that just barely manages but not violate the laws of the operating company. So that's good. And then we did learn more about the Verne Industrial Company. It's a large technology manufacturer which is headquartered in the engineering city of Basel. It's often compared to the Empire's Reinford Group, but due to its industry academic nature, its footwork is relatively low, and it takes a multilateral and polished development approach through an academic lens. During the Orbital Revolution, the aforementioned Professor Hamilton, which is one of the three pupils of Professor Epstein, we've heard that name a few times before, the inventor of orbital gear, brought back the technology and became the advisor to the company. After it succeeded in developing the first orbital car on the continent, Verne Industrial Company invested its research in developing advanced technologies such as orbital photos and video to record footage from astronomical telescopes. It is also the catalyst for the creation of other cultures unique to the Republic, such as orbital cinema, which combines video technology and popular culture. So that's a little bit more about some of the places you'll go and people you will meet in Kuro no Kiseki. Now, like I said, this just popped off today, so I've read through this once. I still don't completely get it. This is going to be the orbment system for this game, and it does appear to be a little more complicated. It is, again, phone-based, as the other ones, it always appeared to be basically cell phones, and you put different pieces into them, boosting stats and spells and all that kind of stuff. Think of the Arcus units of previous games, kind of like early model cell phones. Maybe like an iPhone 2 or 3, and it advanced a little bit. You got video and text, and then they're eventually, so maybe up to the iPhone 6s or 7s. These ones, they would be either the iPhone 12 or 13 or 14. They are much more advanced in their nature, much smaller, but at the same time with a larger video screen. They're calling these the 6th generation of tactical orbment Xipha, which deploys pieces of ether known as shards around its user and enables them to manipulate them to activate various functions. The Xipha also has several new features that enhances the player's abilities, including hollow cores, which change the overall performance of the Xipha, arts drivers, which install various orbital magic, and shard skills, which activate according to the amount of quartz. It goes into a lot more detail about all these different mechanics. I'm not going to, bore you with a bunch of numbers and everything, but needless to say, if you've played the Legend of Heroes games, you kind of know what's going to. This just looks like the next evolution of that process. The game as a whole is an evolution of the Legend of Heroes games, so why not overhaul the orbment system as well? It just sounds a lot more complicated, and like I said, I read through it, and I still don't necessarily even understand everything, but needless to say, this is going to be the basis of the game, and you're going to need to go through a few tutorials, perhaps, to understand it. But yeah, if you're interested in some of the images that I talked about, you can check them all out either through our social media channels, through Facebook or Twitter, JRPG Report, or if you've not already, head over to YouTube, type in JRPG Report, pull up our channel, and I made a slideshow with all the images back to back. You can look at them at your leisure, and give us a like and subscribe if you've not already done that. As of right now, this game does not have a release date, and it does not even have a platform for sure it's coming up. But this is coming to PS5, guys. There is no doubt in my mind whatsoever. It possibly could have a quote-unquote dummied-down version for PS4, but every image and video I've looked at screams PS5. I do not see how this game would be possible on PS4, just to be frank about it. It is due out sometime in 2021 in Japan. I hope that it does. I just don't know. It seems awfully ambitious for a game that has changed this much about the series to still make it out on such a short time frame. However, until proven otherwise, I'm going to take Falcom at their word and hope that it does make it out this year. That the next obvious question is, when does it come out for the West? My best guess, if it comes out in Japan this year, then we would hopefully get it in the fall or winter of 2022. Nothing is guaranteed. First, we got to get Hajimari. We all know the debacle going on with that, but I am super excited about this game. One of the earlier comments on the video was that they were, a 10 out of 10 on the hype level, and I said, I'm Spinal Tap. I'm cranking this thing up to 11, as I could not be any more excited about this one. And I feel a little bad since we've not gotten Hajimari yet. I've still got that experience to go through before this game, and it's, I'm excited about Hajimari, but nothing like I am about this game. I kind of want to get through it in order to get to Kuro no Kiseki even faster, but definitely exciting and a great way to start off today's podcast. Let's dive into some Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade news. This kind of was a little surprising because Final Fantasy and Square Enix were hosting a Final Fantasy VII The First Soldier official live stream broadcast. That's the Fortnite-inspired Battle Royale game. We won't talk about that one. But I guess, just to shake things up, they started talking a little Remake Intergrade as well, probably at the end of it. They showed off the quote-unquote final trailer for Remake Intergrade, and the intermission DLC showed off some new footage. Again, I'm hyped about this one, but Square Enix has a terrible track record of probably showing too much. There is a boss battle in there with a certain bad person character that I kind of wish I would have experienced that on my own. I didn't know that, because we don't know what's going to be in this game at all. Unlike what we could speculate would be in Remake, we have really no idea what's in this, what has been billed as a 2-chapter DLC. Really no clue, so kind of the less information would have been really nice, and I will not ruin that for you guys. But if you watch the trailer, it's in there, and, well, there you go. I'm still super hyped about it. It looks so much fun. So if you want to check out the final trailer, just be warned that there is some stuff in there. And don't have too much longer to wait, as this one is coming out June 10th worldwide for PlayStation 5. At the end of the trailer, let's go ahead and talk about this. There is a little snippet on there, and it says something to the effect that Remake will only be available for PS5 for at least 6 months before it is available on any other format. So, remember when this came out in April? There was supposed to be that 1-year exclusivity thing going on. We are well past that, going into May, and it appears that once this June Remake Intergrade comes out, it's going to be 6 months after that for PC and Xbox X Series One, all the aboves. Can look forward to this game. So that 6 months would pretty much mean all of 2021. So I would have to guess beginning of 2022 is when you can start planning to play this on something other than a PlayStation platform. So that's at least news. If you guys have been holding out and waiting for it, you got to wait a little bit longer. Let's talk about what co-director Tetsuya Noriyama said about the development of this series. This is part 2. He said, quote, "Development is moving forward quite well. I'd like to perhaps make a proper announcement when the timing is right, but Cloud is running through Mother Nature. So you'll be able to enjoy a somewhat different atmosphere from the first game. Well, things are progressing nicely, so please wait for it. The next game starts directly after Intergrade, so I hope you'll get to play Intergrade. That's nothing new. We kind of knew that the next step was, heading out of Midgar and onto the world map and getting to explore that. Exactly how that's going to be handled is yet to be shown. Is E3 the place for that? Possibly. We'll just have to wait and see. I kind of, as I'm sitting here talking about it and, scratching my beard and pondering, you almost wonder if there's going to be a little extra. They did all this stuff for Yuffie. Is there going to be like a little, that's, for example, at the end of some of the Avengers movies, right? There's the extra scene. What if they treat fans who, either bought or download and play Intergrade a little extra scene? Them kind of just looking out away from Midgard, getting our first glimpse of the overworld. Wouldn't that be awesome, right? That's purely just speculation and hopeful thinking, but I think that would be a nice little thing to reward fans. And with this coming out June 10th, we're talking about just a few days before E3, so maybe that's also something that could happen as well. As soon as I hear something, I'll let you know. But at least, with this final trailer, I do believe this is the last bit of information we're going to get about this game. And it is on to Part 2 and Final Fantasy 16 for Square Enix, along with maybe something else, as Square Enix will host the Dragon Quest 35th Anniversary Special live stream. This is going on May the 26th at 1200 Japan Central Time, and the company announced you'll be able to watch it on YouTube in not only Japanese, but Chinese, Korean, and even into English. This is the first time that, they say for the first time in Dragon Quest history, the show will feature live interpretation from Japanese, so our international fans can stay up to date with development in the Dragon Quest Series 2s. Don't miss it, or you'll miss out. May 27th is Dragon Quest Day, and to celebrate the 35th anniversary of the series, we're bringing you a special broadcast to showcase all the latest information about what's going on and what's yet to come in the world of Dragon Quest. The broadcast will consist of 2 parts. Part 1, Dragon Quest Day latest news. They say freelance announcer Natsumi Yuga delivers the latest information on the series currently in operation, on the Dragon Quest titles currently in operation. That includes Dragon Quest X Online, Walk, Tact, Quest of the Stars, garbage. Dragon Quest Monsters Super Light, Rivals Ace, The Adventures of Dai series, and something else. And then part 2, Dragon Quest series latest lineup introduction. A talk show hosted by actor Joy, with Dragon Quest creator and character designer Yuji Horii to announce the newest lineup in the Dragon Quest series. Oh man, I'm getting kind of goosebumps. So first thing they're going to talk about. They're going to talk about these Adventure of Dai's mobile offshoot games. We know they're going to talk about those because they are upcoming titles. What's also been supposedly worked on for a while, a few years at least, featuring a young Eric from Dragon Quest 11 and his sister, which name escapes me at the moment. That is going to be a new Dragon Quest Monsters title. I guess it's number 4. I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. So but the giant elephant in the room that nobody is talking about, but has at least been hinted at's in development, is Dragon Quest 12. What better opportunity than the 35th anniversary to talk about the future of this franchise? And you're talking 35 years, 1986. So a vast majority of my life has been centered around this series, that and Final Fantasy. And I love it. I truly do, and I would be beyond thrilled to tune into this thing. As I mentioned, for the first time, it's going to be translated into English. I wonder what that, let's see, So, if, what is going on here? I don't even know. I think that says that'd be 11 o'clock p.m. on the East Coast. I clicked on the link and it did some sort of translation. So 1200 Japan Central Time. Apparently, if this is correct, would be 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The day before? I don't know. This is all weird. We'll have to see how that all works out. Time is a funny thing, especially with time zones and international datelines and all that fun stuff. But yeah, I just kind of caught on to this thing today, and it certainly got me really excited about it. And I mean, it's been a while. It's been more than a few years since 11 came out, so it is high time with a new console to talk about 12. I would not expect anything to be shown. I'd be even more over the moon if something was shown, but I'm not expecting anything to that sort. Quickly, if you're in Japan and they just opened Super Nintendo Land, right? And I think they had to close it momentarily with another outbreak, but Japan just gets all the cool stuff, right? So here in 2 days, there will be the grand opening of Dragon Quest Island on Saturday, May the 15th. The Nujin no Mori amusement park will be selling tickets for this that I'm sure are very expensive, but how awesome would that be to not only to go to Japan, just period, but to go to someplace like Super Nintendo Land or Dragon Quest Island. I mean, there's a giant slime outside this castle. I mean, let's be honest, it could be pretty cheesy, but I don't care. I would still gladly go to it in a heartbeat and check it out. But yeah, we got some fun Dragon Quest stuff to talk about. I guess that would be here in 2 weeks or so on the podcast. I will let you know as soon as I hear something. Got a couple of stories from the world of Scarlet Nexus. Let's see quickly. The first one was the announcement that the anime that's based off the games will begin airing on July 1st. Bandai Namco announced this. I believe this is going to be kind of over in Japan. I don't know. Don't see anything as far as going international or not. Maybe that might happen at some point. There was a new trailer for this anime series. Very closely looks akin to the video games, and that's definitely a good thing. If you're curious how this one looks, head over to our YouTube channel, and you can check that out. If you're really curious how this game is looking, there was a boatload of different outlets from Game Informer to GameSpot, IGN, VG 24/7, all kind of, I guess, some sort of date, hit, and time that everybody was able to jump their first impression videos out there, and final hands-on previews. That's what they're called. So you can check the interwebs for your favorite video game platform, other than this one, to check out that stuff and see what they thought about. But even better than that is you will get a chance to check this game out because there's a demo coming. The demo will launch on May the 21st for Xbox Series and Xbox One, and May the 28th for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, according to the game's official Japanese website. You may say, well, that's not fair. Why does Xbox get it a week before? It's a demo. It's not the game. But I could have told you this was coming a mile away. If you've seen any of the trailers for this game from the beginning, what's the first thing that pops up? Xbox. So obviously they have backed the old cash truck up to Bandai Namco and said, look, we know we can't get this game before anybody else, but give us something here. Put us, at the beginning, and okay, well, here you go. Here, for all that cash, your stores will get the demo first. So in theory, they could get some pre-orders for those platforms. But I mean, as we've stated before, I mean, and not just myself, but most people most people do not have an Xbox to play JRPGs. It's just not a platform that has been supported over the years. I'm all for every system being able to get these games. Don't get me wrong, but that's what they paid for, and they can get the demo a week earlier than PlayStation owners. I will say this: I'm kind of split on demos. Like, I like to play them for games I'm looking forward to. If I'm on the fence about a game, a demo is a great way of knowing whether I really want it or not. This game, I feel like a demo is a great thing. Speaking personally, I'm on the fence about it. I don't know for certain. So what better way than a demo before the game's release to know if it's really something I want to get or not? And I think a lot of gamers may be feeling kind of the same way. And so on the 21st of May, if you're an Xbox owner, May 28th for PlayStation owners, we can all check it out for ourselves and see what we think of the, quote, brainpunk JRPG. There was a little bit of information about it as well, talking about the psychokinetic actions. You can combine psychokinesis and weapons. Very cool stuff. Fight combining psychokinetic attacks and your weapons in your possession. The more you combo, the higher your psychokinetic attack power increases and greater damage that you deal. You can also use objects. Depending on its form, objects can be thrown, slammed, or swung into a variety of attacks. There are also field-specific objects that trigger an additional attack upon hitting the enemy. There are brain messages. This is how you interact with your other characters. They are sent and received by brain-like email, and conversations at the hideout will trigger character episodes. Complete these episodes to form a bond with that character. So there's your social links aspect of the game. Taking it to a little... If you're not the biggest fan of technology, stuff like this really scares you, I'm sure. Honestly, even though I'm a huge tech fan, this type of stuff is next level and pretty creepy. But it may be where we're heading as a society. Who knows what the future holds, right? You can also give gifts as you develop bonds with those other characters. The gifts that you give will decorate their personal space, which will make the hideout gradually more wonderful. Yeah, there you go. So it shows one of the screens shows one of the characters with a bunch of guitars on his wall and some throw pillows and stuff like that. So kind of just add some fun little human elements to the game. Scarlet Nexus is due out for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, and PC via Steam on June the 24th. In Japan, and June 25th worldwide. I guess no word on that when the Steam demo is going to come out. The article didn't mention that. I don't know. If I hear anything otherwise, I'll let you know. But maybe at the same time as PlayStation. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. An interesting story off the interwebs. So. In short, the Yakuza series, after the success of Like a Dragon, will be turn-based from this point going forward. Ryoga Studio executive producer Nagasoshi told IGN. He said, "That's right," the producer said, when asked if Judgment represents a continuation of the classic Yakuza gameplay style, while the mainline Yakuza series transitions into a turn-based RPG. They continued, the Yakuza series has been transformed into a turn-based RPG. On the other hand, over the year, Gogokuku Studio has accumulated resources and the know-how of making flashy and exhilarating action games that are effortless to enjoy. We decided we should let our signature action gameplay live on through Lost Judgment. So there you go. I believe that's the... so Judgment was the first game. Lost Judgment is the second game. So the earlier Yakuza, more action-based titles are going to continue into Judgment. While Yakuza is going turn-based. So you take that for what it's worth. I think that's a positive. That's how they're going forward with it. You kind of get the best of with both worlds that way. But I'm not shocked by this. Pleasantly surprised, and it should be good for both series fans, right? You're still getting it in the Judgment games, whereas us turn-based weirdos get to enjoy it further in the Yakuza series. NieR fans have had a lot to be excited about here lately. Of course, NieR Replicant is out for fans to enjoy and play on their consoles. Well, NieR Reincarnation, the mobile outshoot of it, is coming to the West, and there is the first official English trailer for the game. You can check that out on our YouTube channel. It looks pretty cool. Pre-registration is now open as well for iOS via the App Store and Android via Google Play. The game came out back in February in Japan, so with pre-registration going on, you should know that the game is coming soon. It kind of takes the NieR formula, turns it into a turn-based battle system, and you can play it in the palm of your hands. You can actually see what they're talking about now that the game is got some English language for you to completely understand. There's the characters. We have some explanation on who and what they are. The first one is called Mama. When the girl came to, she was collapsed on the stone floor of the cage. Though she is kind and has a bright personality, she wears a collar and bandages for some reason and is plagued by horrible dreams. The Girl of Light is a mysterious creature who calls herself Mama. She seems to know something about the cage and acts as a god for the girl. And then there's the Dark monster character, a strange being that wanders the cage. It resembles a knight of armor, but is also speechless. Seems to have some sort of goal. The game looks interesting. There's little way that I could see the NieR formula working on smartphones in its current form. Action games are a little hard to play on mobile platforms, so turn-based certainly seems like the way to go if you're going to do it at all. So looking forward to this one. I'll probably give it a chance when it comes out and see how it plays. For a mobile game, the game looks gorgeous, and it does have some, I hope it's not complete gotcha, but maybe there are characters from the other NieR games, so maybe that's how you get those. I'm not sure exactly, but game's coming, and once I get a firm release date, I will let you guys know. Me and Dalton talked a little bit about some of the games that are coming first to PC and then possibly coming to consoles later on. I don't know if this one's coming to consoles or not, but it is, I think we talked about this one before, Valtherian Arc Hero School Story 2 will launch in early access for PC via Steam this summer. Publisher P-Cube and developer Agate announced. The early access version will ship at a special price with hours of gameplay at launch. Regular updates will gradually implement various new characters, features, areas, and mini games. There was a English trailer that went along with this thing. You can check it out on our YouTube channel to get a better idea of it. They say combining the best of the RPG and simulation genre, this sequel places you in charge of a sprawling and highly customizable academy for the next generation of heroes. Take command of the faculty, nurture a unique and ever-growing roster of students, and earn your place among the most prestigious hero schools in the world. The game aims to deliver to players the feeling of bittersweet joy, the pride of having to grow students from nobodies to star students, the satisfaction from winning battles, and the discovery from experimenting with a lot of random elements in the game. Yet even after all that time spent together, time moves on and players must let go of their students to graduate. That's an interesting way of looking at it. most of the time you put all this time and trouble into characters, and then they're with you for the entire game. That's certainly not going to be the case with this one. And I have to see how I'm intrigued. I don't love the chibi-esque kind of squatty style of the characters, but the it kind of got a full customization. You can kind of lay out the campus how you want to. It's got some world building elements to it. I like the hook of the game, but don't necessarily know. Of course, I don't have a PC powerful enough at the moment, so I might have to come over to other platforms for me to enjoy it. Fans who are looking forward to the Caligula Effect 2 now have a second official trailer with 9 minutes of footage to check out. It was in Japanese, so you're not going to know what's going on, but it's a long one, and there's a lot. It definitely seems to be story based, and you'll get a chance to check that. Did I talk about this last week? I did not. No. Okay. Sometimes I forget to know what I talk about, what I don't. So head over to YouTube and check that out. I almost forgot, but at the last second, I remembered the Golden Week sale and did pick up the original game. I think it normally goes for $50. They had it down to $20. So after many people suggested that I should do that, I went ahead and pulled the trigger and picked it up. Don't ask me when I'm going to play it, but I do want to check it out. This sequel looks amazing. The battle system looks like so much fun, and I want to see where the game kind of came from in order to get to this sequel point, which should hit us sometime in the fall here in the West. So the last game I want to talk to you guys about, and I hinted at it in the opening. This is a game that I've not seen this. So if you were to combine a JRPG with Tetris, you might get a game like Flowstone Saga. It's a coming to the Switch sometime next year. If you remember, a game came out in 2019 called Tangle Deep. Well, this is the same group, Impact Gameworks. This is their second project. The first one was kickstarted. This one is seeking Kickstarter funding as well. Flowstone Saga promises a grand story, lots of characters to meet, and an epic adventure soundtrack, among other things. And it's targeting a 2022 release date. Now, I shared this trailer over on our YouTube channel, so you'll check it out because you kind of got to see it to understand what we're talking about. The most intriguing fact is the combat. It incorporates a Tetris-style mechanic in which you clear lines to land attacks on enemies. There will be special blocks to obtain along with the puzzles to solve. But in a nice nod to accessibility, there will be the option to use a hold mechanic, where line clearing combat is more like a puzzle without the blocks gradually falling. You can have a more challenging, faster paced combat if you prefer. If you're not good at Tetris, you can do that. The game currently has a Kickstarter campaign that's off to a decent start, but the developers stress that these funds are not necessary for them to complete the game in the coming year, just to make it that much bigger and better. It's confirmed for Switch along with PC and Mac. Some early demos available later on in the campaign. The funding is to add extra polish and quality to the game, such as live musicians for the soundtrack, more sound effects, animations, and more. Yeah, it's one of those games that, color me intrigued. It's still turn-based, so you get my attention. It's definitely a Super Nintendo types graphics style to it. I like the overall idea behind it, and it could be interesting. It could be a swing and a miss. It's hard to really know sometimes with these games, but I'd never seen anything like that before, and thought it might be something worth bringing to your attention. That is Flowstone Saga. So yeah, like I said, get over to YouTube if you've not already. Go ahead and give us a subscription over there. I think we're getting ever closer to monetization status. And with that, let me go ahead and since we're all wrapped up here, let's talk about the future here. When I reach that point, I'm going to start implementing a few more features. So this is all kind of going into we are definitely moving down to JRPG Island this summer. It's a lot of work ahead of us, but it's going to happen. I've ordered a new graphics card for my computer, so we're going to start doing some different things. One of those I really want to do is do a premiere and live chat option actually for the recording of the podcast each week. So I'll let you guys kind of get a behind the scenes look into things as I record them and talk about them. And then once it's all said and done, we can have a little chitty chat and talk about things if you're so inclined. I really want to start doing a lot more live streams to that effect. This is, moving further down the line. I think my PS4 will be fine to handle that once I get the proper equipment. But ultimately, PS5 was in the pipeline. Speaking of that, that's not coming for a while. If you guys haven't already heard, there's going to be shortages into next year for the system. That's just demand, and supply is way out of proportion. So that's kind of sad. I don't think I'm going to be able to play Ratchet when it comes out. Or Intergrade or anything else. But yeah, that's all plans for the future. We've got some big ideas for this brand that I've spent all this time accumulating, and I really would love to make it into... I know it's never going to be a full-time job. At least it had to grow quite a bit to be that, but I would certainly love for it to be at least an income source and way of connecting with you guys beyond the podcast each and every week into something a little more interactive and a lot more fun for everyone involved. And if it's waiting for me to make a couple dollars, that makes the wife happy and pays the bills better than nothing. So in the meantime, if you'd like to support this channel, please do so. You can either do it directly through PayPal. If you just want to send a one-time gift, James Fisher Productions, all one word, at gmail.com. You can do it via the link on the Anchor app, or you can do it through Patreon. Just look up JRPG Report. We accept all those kind donations. I truly appreciate each and every one of them. That's going to do it for episode 165. Hope you guys have had fun. If you want to hear me talk about Tales of Berseria, if I've not already talked about it enough on this podcast, I invite you to check out my interview, or however you want to call it, with Dolan over on his Steam Machine podcast. We're going to be recording this weekend. I believe that episode will come out on Sunday. Hide the kids because it is a little more adult oriented. We'll be talking about all sorts of inappropriate things. I'm sure his podcast is a little more crazy, but in a odd twist, we've both been playing the game at the same time, so I will give my thoughts on it and why it's a must-own title, in my opinion, and one of the better Tales experiences. But we'll talk all about it back and forth on his podcast, so if you don't already subscribe to it, do so, and we'll talk some JRPGs this week. I'm a guest on there from time to time whenever he covers the games anyway, so that's always fun. But that'll do it for this one. We'll talk to you guys again next week. My name is James Fisher. This has been your JRPG Report, and don't forget, get back out there and level up.